Okie dokie. Let's see here. Hello, Savannah. Hello, Savannah. Hello. I am here with Mr. Sean Evans from WTOC. Not doing what I would rather do, but we're going to do this. So there apparently is another complaint about my work on council. And so we're going to see what he has to say. But before he says that or ask me any questions, I need you guys to share. Mr. Evans, if you would allow me to express myself here. And then from this information, you may have questions, or this may in fact answer any questions that you have. So I want to first say to the families of Savannah who are plagued with gun violence, particularly that violence that results in homicide, condolences to you and your family. We want to acknowledge that we are continually more concerned about the forced displacement of individuals in our communities, homelessness, as well as issues related to maintaining and securing our police officers and staff. Listen, there is nothing more important to me than reducing crime and saving the weeping time. As Alderwoman at large for Post 1 of the city of Savannah, I am continually more concerned with issues related to keeping our community safe and preserving the most vulnerable as well as the most prized possessions of properties that our citizens have, particularly those associated with legacy and heritage. Related to this latest claim, let me first say this is another coordinated and strategic attack by the mayor and the media. Unfortunately, Katrina Bostic is yet just another one of his victims, where she has allowed Van Johnson to use her to lodge this very personal, petty, and political tactic to further distract our citizens' attention from issues related to rising poverty, homelessness, taxes, and forced displacement in our community. Sean, as you know, as decades-long executive to our nonprofit community, from serving seniors who were nutrition insecure to serving youth and young adults who are vulnerable and members of gangs. My work as an executive of the nonprofit organization where I serve victims of rape and child molestation, in addition to my community organization work and mobilization. Myself, I am among one of the only most vocal voices on council of members who have actually advocated for our nonprofit community. What does that advocacy look like for agencies like Family Promise, for agencies like the Rape Crisis Center? I advocated to the extent where we would recognize these services as essential in our community, thereby foregoing the competitive grant process. And so, in addition to that, I served as the leader of Family Promise. Myself, along with intrepid members of our faith community, built the building that they now operate out of. I wouldn't do anything to hurt or hinder the organization, but my role as Alderwoman at large here at the city of Savannah is a part of that work is to be a fiscal agent as well, a keeper of the watch. Nonetheless, as the responsible agent for taxpayer dollars, it is my duty to keep government honest and to keep the partners who we serve honest as well. In the course of doing my job, I have the prerogative to raise questions and make known the concerns of citizens in our community. In this case, I am not the only person on council who have raised issues about Family Promise, about United Way. Family Promise and United Way are not the only organizations we have questioned, but I'm the only person on council who now has yet another ethics complaint filed against her person. I submit to you, Sean, if I said I supported oxygen, people would stop breathing. I will continue to challenge the system and status quo politics. Stealing, cheating, and lying are oftentimes relegated to ethics complaints that are lodged against political figures, elected officials, public servants. In this case, again, I have not been guilty of any issues related to drugs or drinking, public drunkenness, DUI. That would be a matter for an ethics complaint. I have not misappropriated or stolen money. Those will be matters for an ethics complaint. I have not had a sexual indiscretion and don't intend to. I have not slept with anyone's husband or wife. I can't say the same about individuals on my council and even the person who's lodging this claim. You see, those individuals can't hold a candle to me when it comes to ethics, values, and standards. But unfortunately, they have the power of the media. They have the power of the messengers who spew these lies and ugly tactics that only come to sully my reputation and to discredit my worth and value that I bring to this great city of Savannah. For decades, almost 3, I have devoted my life's work to the most vulnerable among us. There is no way that I will choose this platform to come before the citizens and lose my mind and not continue to do those things that I have always done for the city. Again, lowering crime, increasing morale in our police department, preventing forced displacement, lowering taxes, lowering homelessness, cleaning our streets of litter. Those are my goals. That's what I would like to speak to you about today. You know, you have on your desk an allegation that is far more serious than what we have here against the mayor. But you chose today to come to me to talk about a bogus, trumped up charge, as opposed to talking to the mayor about the allegation of his sexual indiscretion with a child. Thank you.
Thank you for your statement, Alderwoman Gibson. So, to get into this isn't an allegation. This is something that was filed with the clerk of council. It's more than an allegation, and it does specifically reference statements that you made during the May 12th workshop and regular meeting.
It's an allegation in the form of an ethics complaint that now has to go before an ethics panel who will determine if it is frivolous, if it is baseless, or if it has merit. And from there, you go through this adjudication process of sorts of this panel, who are not my peers. It's 3 white men, right? Who lodged a guilty account toward me the first time. I do not intend to subject myself or the resources of the citizens of the city of Savannah to that behavior again. I will no longer be your WTOC. I will no longer be your WSAV. I will no longer be your JCL, Fox, Savannah Morning News. I am no longer interested in being your entertainment. So this is the last time I will address any baseless, political, personal, and pointless charges against my person and my work. It is my duty to sit here at this desk and be a keeper of the watch. It is my duty as a sitting alderwoman at large to present ordinances, to present legislation for consideration. We are a city that's plagued with sex trafficking. What policies have we put forth to deal with those issues. We are a city that's plagued by street crime and gun violence. What have we done to tackle that issue? Our citizens who work within the corridors of this local government are struggling and suffering every day with low work morale. Our police department, we are bleeding more of them than we are recruiting daily. Again, Sean, I say to you, if I supported oxygen, people would stop breathing. But I'm not going to stop breathing, and I'm not going to move. Well, I will move, but it will be up.
And I'm not here to call into question your advocacy and your passion to serve those in the community, your constituents.
Mm-hmm.
What I am here to address are, again, those statements made during that May 12th meeting,
Right?
which are detailed, again, in this filing. I want to know, and if you can, just shed a little light on why you chose to focus in on, again, walk us through why you chose to focus in on Family Promise and United Way at that particular meeting.
Because they are the largest recipients of funds from the city of Savannah for services related to preventing evictions, preventing utility disconnections, as well as providing additional support to families. If I am the recipient of calls from individuals who say they are not receiving help, that the process is cumbersome, if you are receiving millions of dollars via CARES Act, via ARPA funds, via City of Savannah Community Services dollars that we just happen to find, it's my duty to question. It's my responsibility to bring the concerns of my citizens, bring those concerns to this council. And it's not to embarrass anyone, it's not to call anyone out, but Sean, you can do an open records request. You like doing those on me, right? Do the open records request, and you will see the number of times where I have submitted information to multiple city managers. We're on our 4th city manager now. What about breaking news on that? How poor of a managed administration is that? I've only been in office barely 2.5 years, and we already have had 4 city managers. So search their records and see how many times I have sent requests to them to say, this person, this woman, this man with these children have reached out to me for support. I made the referral, and they come back to me to say either they didn't get an answer when they called, or they were not able to receive services for whatever reason, or the process is so cumbersome. You know, if you yourself today called to access any services with regard to homelessness in our community, you would have to log on into a system. How pretentious is it of us to think that everyone has access to social media? How is it that we just take for granted that everybody can read and write? How is it that we just take for granted that we put these rules and regulations amidst these millions of dollars? Chairman Ellis stated that he released $9 million to the community via social services like Family Promise, like United Way. The city of Savannah, do a records request. Millions of dollars that we have released, you know, from ARPA funds between the school board. Over the next 2 to 4 years, $95 million they will receive. The city of Savannah, 2 to 4 years, we will receive nearly $60 million in ARPA funds, American Relief Protection Act funds. Chatham County, $55 million over the next 2 to 5 years. Nearly $300 million will be coming to this city, to this county. There shouldn't be one citizen with that level of support, with that much of a bailout. There shouldn't be one mother, one father. But if you go over on Stevenson Avenue, that hotel, that Motel 6, has essentially turned into an apartment complex because people cannot afford their rent. The school system, right now, school buses are picking up as many children from hotels as they do bus stops in front of their homes. We have a problem. And you know, if I have been held down and stripped of my power to enact policies, if this mayor that we have can't communicate with his council You know, if you actually drill down, there is some talent among us. But if we're not able to come to the table to solve the most pressing issues facing this community, we're never going to get it done. You know why? Because there is a continual interest in majoring in minor. You all would rather cover interpersonal relations and the lack thereof, as opposed to covering the real issues facing this community. And the problem I have with it, Sean, it's not personal for me. I can take it. I'm a big girl. This isn't my first rodeo. But the problem I have with it is you're hurting the people. When you provide cover for this establishment as opposed to coverage of the issues facing this community, you do a disservice to the people. And so I'm asking you all, stop it. Just stop it. I know, I'm clickbait. But you know what? If I sit down and have a conversation with you about more than this foolishness, we can get some more likes. I can help you get your numbers up. And finally, I want to say to you, you in particular, you know, in 2019, I ran against one of the largest competitors that was on this council. She outraised me nearly 100-1. Okay? The depth of her reach with the media was sensational. I not only had to run against her, but I had to run against you all. And the beauty of that is, when he does it, I will be able to say that it was only him, because he is the only person who could help me win this next race. And so, ever since I announced that I was running for mayor, you all have been on me overtime and double time. And again, it's fine. The challenge that I have is making sure I'm having a good hair day, okay? That's just how serious I take this. But what I want to get across to you and the other media affiliates is that you have the power to determine how safe this community is and how unsafe it is. You have the power to determine how engaged our citizens are and how disengaged they are. And I'm simply asking for you to exercise journalistic integrity. Don't utilize the media's magic, and uncover the issues that really point to the bottom line of the citizens' pocketbook, like the $19 million we have invested in grass and dirt over at the arena for parking. The individual who owns the land has been getting paid thousands of dollars, almost $50,000, $60,000 a month since last year, all the way up until this point this year, and we're still not using barely a percentage of the parking. Also, what's most important to our citizens today? To know that we open the doors of the arena and we do not have a certificate of occupancy, that we didn't pass our own fire inspection? That's most important. What would be more interesting to citizens to know and that they would be concerned about? The misuse and abuse of our police personnel by the mayor, who uses a sworn police officer who makes nearly $75,000 a year, and his task is to drive him around, open his door, and fetch his breakfast, lunch, and dinner? I would think that's more important than a fiscal steward of the city of Savannah basically making known to the public, who reaches out to me to use this platform to say, I'm hoping that with this infusement of dollars, we now will create a less cumbersome way of families gaining access.
And I think the continuum of care, that partnership that was voted on, agreed upon by all the council, that council meeting.
That I voted for it.
Exactly.
I actually voted for I've never voted against the organization. Yes.
Exactly.
And so why be slighted by a critique as opposed to listening and doing better? That's it. And you know what? Again, Sean, this is personal. I also am a keeper of the watch because I don't want the mayor using the resources of the city of Savannah to fuel his campaign. If you look at the 2019 picture when he announced his bid for mayor, Who's standing in the crowd with him? Katrina Bostic, not Kesha Gibson Carter. Sean, it's like, really, you guys gotta like see this for what it is.
And you're offering lots to unpack. I do want to get back to that individual that reached out to you that you just mentioned, to use your platform to bring it to the attention of council and everyone.
It's multiple individuals.
Multiple individuals, but you did mention one mother in particular that had gotten in touch with you back in April, correct?
I didn't mention that. That's in that information that you have there. I didn't mention specifically a date.
Here, you said in April. You didn't give a specific date, but you said in April, and then you started referencing that mother that she came to you to alert that she was having a hard time.
Well, fortunately, this is recorded, and so I don't recall saying in April. In my discussion with you here in this moment, as we are sharing this passionate exchange, my acknowledgement, Sean, is that people over time, in the 2.5 years that I've been on council, this isn't just a most recent account, and this isn't the first time I've made it known to our city managers, from Pat Monahan, Michael Brown, Heath Lloyd, and now Jay Melder.
Had you been personally in touch with that mother? Had she reached out to you, or was it a third party?
No, people call me. People call me. People email me. I have a city phone that's public. I have social media that's very public and active. And so individuals reach out to me via those platforms. And I just happen to be one of those council members who actually respond to people when they call. I actually answer my phone and respond to emails and text messages and messages that I receive via Messenger on Facebook.
Well, the reason why I ask for those specifics, because in the records request, it does reveal that Family Promise the next day, the 13th, that Friday, started digging, looking into that particular mother.
And that's fine, Sean, if they want to cherry pick. If they want to cherry pick the ones that they did follow up on, that's fine. That's good. But you will find in that, in as much as I did read, because I really tried to ignore it, you will find that in a lot of regard, when they got back to them, it wasn't immediate. And when they reached out to them, they were already receiving additional services from someplace else, or they found an abode with a family member or a friend or something like that. It said. So you see the delay in time. But if you're getting millions of dollars have been infused into your organization, I want it to be immediate. I want people who need help. If we're giving that much money to these nonprofit organizations, I want you to have a 24-hour hotline. You respond to people in real time to meet their real needs.
Is there an
I know.
that does that?
No, but you know what? Why can't we think outside of the box? With all of this money, we cannot continue to do business as usual. This is my point. Thank you for raising that point. With that much of a resource, how easy would it be to create a mechanism like that? You know? And you know, if you actually utilize, again, the talent of people here on council, myself in particular, we can help you figure that out. Not only can we help you figure it out, once we figure it out, guess what? I'm going to advocate for more resources, for more money. Remember, Sean, I served the homeless continuum for over 10 years,
And again, I'm not here to discredit any of the work that you've done or your advocacy for the community.
No, I know you're not here to do it today, but you all have done it over time.
Well, so I do want to get back to, again, the questions you raised, the concerns you raised about Family Promise and their ability to serve the community. Are you saying they aren't serving the community at all, or that they're not doing so in the capacity that you think they should?
Sean, I said what I said. I meant what I said, and I stand by what I said. I offered a critique, and I gave an assessment, and I gave a report of what was happening with constituents who reached out to me. I don't want to engage in trickery. I don't want to engage in giving you a soundbite to where when you go back and report this tonight or whenever you report it, and if you report it, it's much different from the exchange that we have here today. So I want you to respect my position. I'm trying to respect your work, and I'm hoping that one day we will get to that place where I can do that again.
Let's, again, circle back to the mother, because they did specifically reach out to that family. And again, that person and her children had found accommodations with a family member staying there until I believe it is this August. Had you checked in with her and her situation before making those statements at the main?
You know, one of the reasons why one of these cases, I can't even remember, it's so many that I received. I can't remember which one it was, but one of them was so frustrating for me because not only had the mom reached out, but there was an individual, and I can look it up on my phone.
She reached out to you?
I think it was a guy who reached out on behalf of the mother. And then I ultimately, at one point, had a conversation with the mom. So the reason why it was so annoying and aggravating for me, because the gentleman kept asking me, can you help this woman? Can you help this woman? Can you help this woman? And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. And, and now here we go, sitting on council, and I'm seeing the resources being allocated, and I'm thinking, where's the disconnect? So again, Sean, as opposed to looking at this as as disparaging remarks or as an attack, surely the building that bears my name, I would not be in position to do anything to discredit the organization. And in fact, one of the other claims in this ethics complaint is that I'm hurting the organization's reputation somehow. But you tell me, Sean, what is now more visible and will be heard more about Family Promise than right now when you all air this tonight? More people will now know about the allegations or the critique that I have made. Far more tonight will know than who knew when I uttered what I did on council. And I would imagine for those who are watching, even supporters of Family Promise, many whom I've worked with for decades and will always respect and honor, I would imagine that they would be inclined to see what I said as an opportunity, as a teachable moment. If Miss...
I'm sure they would, were the statements and the points brought up.
And the statements and the points were brought up publicly because, as I stated to you, I had in the past been advocating behind closed doors in those emails that you are now privy to. I didn't go public then, Sean. And so it's a serious matter for me to have homeless children and women sleeping in cars, to have children having to navigate the parking lots of sketchy hotels that are riddled with sex trafficking, drugs, and other crime to get to a scroungy hotel room and then be expected to go to school the next day and perform.
And you have a unique perspective. Again, having had your role with the RCC to now being on council, you understand what it's like to be in the driver's seat of an organization, a nonprofit like that, trying to help those in the community. They said in the letter sent to the clerk of council, the statements that you made depict Family Promise as less engaging, unprofessional, and unresponsive to the immediate needs of the...
Those were their words. Those were never my words.
Exactly. No, I'm reading
And
that
so,
from the letter
so
that's-
it's unfortunate that that is their assessment. It's unfortunate that they have not viewed this as an opportunity for a teachable moment. They have not used this as an opportunity. And it's not even they. Let's just be clear, okay? It's Katrina Bostic. This person has a personal animus against me. She has now made it political and joining the ranks of the mayor. And I'm not interested in engaging. I'm not gonna do the tit for tat, Sean. I'm not gonna be petty back with these petty people.
Can I ask why you say that?
I will not get into that, Sean, because you know what? It just becomes a greater distraction. Why do you want to know more about that and less about the allegations that the mayor is now facing?
Does it get to the root of the issue?
But is that issue more important than the allegation now facing the mayor? Is it more important than the fact that we have babies dying? We still haven't identified the killer of Desiree Gilliard over in Yamacraw. You know what I would like to do? I would like to have WTOC and other media affiliates who report on this. I would like for you all to invest in the fund to find her killer. Let's increase those dollars. That's what I want to do, Sean. I don't want to do this. And I do not want to continue to have an antagonistic relationship with you and the media affiliates. But what I will do, just as I stand up for other people and be a voice for them, there's nothing less that I'm going to do for myself. And so you all can continue to do what it is that you do, but I'm going to continue to respond the way I want to respond. Because two things can't happen. You can't do what you want to do to me and then dictate how I'm going to respond to it.
Reporting on file documents.
Okay, and that's fine.
And these have only been filed against you as of right now.
Right, but as you know, Sean, and this is very important for you to report on. As you know, there are other older persons who have raised the same issues against the same organization, but the ethics complaint is filed on me. You know why? It's filed on me because I am the biggest threat to the establishment in this community. I'm the biggest threat to the mayor. And you know what? I am no longer going to be Savannah's threat. I'm going to be her promise. I'm done. Have a good